Hello and welcome everyone, welcome to game 2 of this best of 3. Let me introduce the two players and then I will do a quick recap of game 1. In the left we do have the red Terran, currently 1-0 up. It is EmpireHappy. His opponent in the top position, the blue Zerg, hoping to come back this game, no doubt. It is Dimaga. Game 1 was pretty good. I'm not going to lie, we saw a mech style out of Happy, that blue flame Hellion opening that could have done so much damage if it wasn't for Dimaga's legendary cool Evolution Chamber Wall-Off. And that just denied all of the aggression. It stopped any workers getting killed, but unfortunately for Dimaga, Happy was not willing to stop there. He kept up the harassment, he kept poking and prodding into the third. By the end of the game, he killed over 80 drones. But still, he went on to become victorious. He had a nice little push, which admittedly Dimaga cleaned up perfectly with some burrowed roaches, but it was too late, having lost 2 bases. Happy was just so far ahead economically, 30 SCVs above the drone count. When you added in mules, it was just never going to work for Dimaga. But of course now, the blue Zerg should be prepared. He should know what Happy's willing to do and will hopefully come back to level out this series 1-1. I know that's what I'm hoping for, and I hope it's what you're hoping for as well. In terms of strategy, Dimaga is going to be throwing down that hatchery at 15. It should be followed up by a quick spawning pool. Definitely expecting a 1-Rax command center out of Happy yet again. And the one thing which, the final thing I'll point out about game 1 was that Happy was very clever with his early marine usage. He had them on patrol around the edges of his base where overlords could potentially come in order to deny the scouting. That is something that I don't see many Terran players do. I used to see it an awful lot, but it sort of has fallen out of fashion. That basically denied all of the vision that Dimaga would have needed to predict the blue flame Hellion opening, which meant that potentially, if it wasn't scouted by a very nicely placed overlord in the equivalent position of about here, then basically it would have gone very, very different, and I think that game could have been over exceptionally quickly. So, will we see a similarly aggressive opening? Well, maybe we will from Dimaga, because he's gone for a gas at a very early stage. Remember, in game 1, he went for all 4 gas geysers a lot later on, and then got his spire down. This scout, though, is going to be essential for Happy. He sees that the gas is there, he sees the spawning pool timing, now grabbing his own 2 gas, exactly as he normally would. Rax command center, double gas. It's looking fine by me. This is the important thing that Happy needs to see, that the drones have been pulled. So that first 100 gas was just for a very quick Zergling speed. That is exactly what you need to be spotting with this SCV. Great that Happy came back in there to make sure that it wasn't just stopped as we saw and didn't know precisely what his opponent was doing. So as always, scouting absolutely essential in the early game, mid game, and even the late game of StarCraft 2. So Dimaga, playing a little bit of mind games here, puts the drones back in gas, also chucks down this roach run, so it is most likely going to be a 2-base bling, but as roach bling, but as we see, the SCV comes in for yet a 3rd time, gets a complete scout off, unfortunately dies for his trouble. But now Dimaga forced to cancel that roach run, because getting it now would just be completely pointless, as to be honest, Happy will be able to prepare exactly as he would need. In terms of what Dimaga is going to do now, looks like it's just going to be a quick 3rd base, so really mind gaming to the maximum, and that is what I like to see. I love mind games in StarCraft 2, and at this sort of level of play, it's what you've got to do, because standard strategies, standard play is very unlikely to win you the game. You've got to do something a bit over and above, and that is exactly what we're seeing from these two at the moment. The factory straight away getting the tech lab down. So are we going to see a switch? Are we going to see Hellion Marauder? It's quite likely in terms of a build once you've scouted that potentially it's going to be Bling Roach, but instead it's just going to be getting out of tanks, so no Hellions at all for the moment. Getting those tanks down, siege mode starting very early. And as such, Happy just going to be turtling to the max, probably going to stick those tanks somewhere very defensive, perhaps back there, perhaps up there as well. So those are the sort of places you want to be putting them, just to make sure that the roaches can't pick them off too fast. For Dimaga though, he's now getting up his 2nd and 3rd gas. He's got his lair timing coming down nicely. The 4th gas on its way as well, potentially going to see some Mutalisks. Yet again, the Marine there for Happy, denying this Overlord Scout as best it can. And the reason I think Mutas are very likely on this map is just due to all of this dead space. You can come in, harass them in all line. The third base as well has got some dead space around it, which can be very fun to try and take out. So, all in all, Baning Nest now on its way down for Dimaga yet again. We've got the third base up and running successfully. Quite a lot of Zerglings are in production. They're just going to come and take some map control. Happy's really been spending his time getting an awfully good economical position. He's getting out that third command center quite early. He's got very little on the field, literally just producing one tank with siege mode. Hasn't sieged it up yet though, which would be a good move to make. And is now just transitioning into Hellions, getting out Stim as well. So it is going to be a more traditional playstyle. But with this early tank, it just means that Happy is going to be in a slightly safer position should aggression come. And that's gain. He needs that just due to the fact that he went for that greedy third CC. In terms of what these speedlings are doing, just going to check around the map, going to see, hey, what's going on? We do have a couple of Marines down here, which could be free pickings as long as Dimaga is paying attention, but it looks like Dimaga is going to stop just before they encounter each other, so everything looking okay. We've got the Spire coming down as well now, heading out to the very side. That's because Skang would likely come down in this sort of area, or just commit to either the natural or main, so that is just making it more unlikely that it will be seen. But of course, no scouting information at all for Dimaga. All he knows is that his opponent has an orbital command and has a wall off here. He has no clue what else is there for the time being. But looking now for Dimaga, cleaning out these rocks. He's getting up his 5th and 6th gas as well. We've got a few Hellions just running across the map, but they won't get to do too much because, as we can see, there's an awful lot of speedlings here. A couple of drones may get taken down as they're transferring to the third, and that is a nice little win there actually for Happy. Getting any drones for free like that is obviously going to be fantastic. There were only 3 taken down, but it's better than none. In terms of what Dimaga's doing, he's getting up those Mutas, 9 already in production, no missile turrets down at all. In terms of the Marine count, there's only 6 on the field. Dimaga, he could get a very nice advantage here. Nothing is going to reveal this is coming. No idea the Spire is even down yet, and as such, this could be a very, very dangerous position for Happy to be in. The first he's going to know about this coming is when that Marine inevitably dies. There's not going to be time to get up the missile turrets. We do have a reactor coming down on the starport, but it's going to be way late. Obviously now these Mutas are going to go in. They're all clumping up, taking down the single Marine. Missile turrets instantly started ninja reactions out of Happy there, but unfortunately the Muta count is pretty damn high, and now we're going to see some dead SCVs going down very fast. A couple of Marines stimming their way across, but of course Dimaga has done more than enough damage in this one single push. 11 SCVs killed, that given Dimaga a very comfortable worker lead, and now he can just start focusing down everything. He's going to start picking off a couple more SCVs, trying to stop the missile charge. One missile charge not completed there. The SCV was pulled off it, and of course this is just allowing Dimaga to just continue on with this aggression, picking off Marines as they do get separated from the group. Needs to be careful not to lose Mutas though. That would not be good for him. More missile turrets coming down. Meanwhile, there's been a big Zergling push down to the third base, and my goodness, we've seen a good amount of damage being done here by Dimaga. Having killed 21 SCVs, denied this third for quite a while, he is going to be feeling very comfortable for the time being. The natural base doesn't have any missile turrets added either. No Marines there as well. That means Dimaga could potentially just go and ransack that. If he was able to take out those Marines there, needs to be careful, needs to decide which way he's going to go in. These 2 tanks looking very exposed. If only Dimaga knew they were there before the Marines came down, he could have jumped in to try and snipe them off. That would have been, oh, so beautiful. Looking up here though, more speedlings, more Mutas in production. We've got the 4th base coming out as well. This is definitely Dimaga's game at the moment. He's 60 to 40 workers. He's taking his 4th base to the 2 bases now of Happy, and he's got a sizable force on the field. He's up to 22 Mutalisks. The Marine count only at 20, so if he can't engage head on with that, but he can have a nice little poke and prod around should he be able to get in at a nice angle. Such as down through here, he could definitely do some good damage. And is he going to go for it? It looks like he is indeed going to. Gonna just run straight in, can pick off these small clumps of Marines when they don't have any support. 1 medevac is now out. Surprisingly, not focusing the tank that much, trying to get the kill on it, but also does not want to overcommit, does not want to lose any Mutas from the push, and indeed gets away completely safely. So that was a good engage there by Dimaga, and now double expanding behind this. He knows he's got the map dominance, he knows he's got the map control, and with that you can be greedy when taking bases. You can get so far economically ahead, nothing else matters. The +2 air weapons are on their way. No sign of an infestation pit yet, so that means no hive for a long period of time. Dimaga just happily going to sit with these mutas out. There are these 2 missile turrets at the main, a third one in the middle line and another coming in there, but again, with such a high count of mutas, you could almost just punch straight through these fairly quickly. In terms of what's coming down, we've just got more drones in production now for the Zerg player. Still at 77, being up to these 5 bases rather, is going to be very nice for him. It just means that he's going to have a solid income. Needs to try and delay this third a bit more, or rather needs to just keep being aggressive, keep harassing, because the one thing Happy is unable to do with only 33 Marines is defend everywhere at once. He's trying to keep things around, keeping these medevacs back. If you go for a big push, or rather try and draw back an army, or more of an army into the main, you're then exposing the third base to some aggression. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Dimaga is able to utilize that sort of multi-pronged strategy and real multitasking, taxing build on Happy for the time being. For the moment though, the mutant numbers just gaming higher and higher, up to 28, +2 air weapons about to kick in. That suddenly makes this little force and these 3 missile turrets look awfully weak. So in he goes. Is he going to try and focus down the missile turrets? Almost certainly, and look how quickly they fall. One volley and they are gone. The Marines getting taken down as well. This is where Happy is going to be forced to pull back a lot of his forces, and there they go, the Marines running back. That is going to expose his third base to this mass amount of Zerglings and Banelings. The medevacs getting taken down, the SCVs getting taken down. This is a massive distraction play, which in itself is doing a huge amount of damage. Income, all of the Zerglings. Luckily for Happy, he didn't pull back everything. He tried to keep his tanks down there so Dimaga won't be able to run in yet. Just playing some mind games for the time being, picking off all the missile turrets, but as we can see, that was a good engagement for Dimaga. He's still ahead in terms of the resources lost. He's now killed 25 workers. He's given himself a near 30 worker lead. He's still 2 bases up, and all in all, this is Dimaga's game right now. The Greater Spire is coming down. He's going to have Broodlords shortly. This force hasn't really been too useful, but I'm hoping you can all see what he was planning on doing. He was planning on just running straight in here if this force moved back, specifically the Marines, because the Zerglings alone could have overpowered, but Dimaga gonna go for it now, just edging his way around. He knows exactly where those tanks are, and if he can get into that middle line, he is going to be able to do an awful lot. Some more Banelings are morphing, the Marines are there, and now we're going to see Ling Bling Muta go straight for this tank Marine force. The Mutalist focusing down the siege tanks ever so fast. Dimaga taking a substantial supply lead now, but still this tank line was too long. It takes up an absolute mile, as we can see, and as such, there may just be too much. A couple of Banelings did try to finish it off, try to get in there, get a few SCVs, but the Marine count is getting up higher. 3 infantry, weapons and armor are nearly done. That's the only downside to what Dimaga's doing at the moment. His upgrades are suffering. He's got +2 air attack, and he is getting out 3 weapons armor, but that isn't going to keep him up with what Happy's getting in terms of upgrades. The Mutas, though, ransacking the main base. The missile turrets are getting taken down. A couple of Marines coming back, but it is not enough for the time being. The force moving across the map. Happy has had enough of this. Looks like he's just going to go and try and kill Dimaga, but will Dimaga react in time? He is going to see it on its way across with that single Corruptor, and is instead going to come for his own attack. He's running in. Some Banelings now going to try and take out that bunker. The SCVs get taken down as well. That is obviously a very nice trade. The Mutalist ransacking the main, killing off all of the production facilities, but this is the danger. What are all of these units going to be able to do? There's only a handful of tanks, but the Banelings, the Zergling count getting higher and higher. The Mutas cleaning out near everything. The natural base now getting completely taken down. So many workers killed already. 64 are dead, but what more can happen? This tank, this Thor, these Marines using the cover of the tanks, trying to push forward, trying to bait Dimaga back, but still there is nothing to deal with this force in Happy's main. So many units dying. Happy completely all in now. If he is unable to kill Dimaga here and now, he's not going to be able to come back. Even with mules, 3 SCVs is not enough at the 20-minute mark. So Dimaga, he just has to hold this off, and he has won. But he is committing to the aggression, he is committing to this push, not pulling anything back, just trying to clean everything out. There is a single corruptor chipping away at buildings which may try to fly into the distance, but is it going to be enough? Will Happy be able to stop this force? The answer, almost certainly no, with the Broodlords coming in now. The surround from every angle, and seeing the Broodlords, Happy GG's out, and that means the Dimaga has done it. He's leveled out the series 1-1. I will see you at game 3 of this best of 3 any second. See you there.